Okay, let's talk about the apocalypse. There has been a steady abuse of the apocalypse. What do I mean by the apocalypse? I'm talking about total destruction of cities and monuments in movies, like in The Man of Steel, for instance. The complete and utter destruction of Metropolis, which, if it's in and of itself, it's understandable. But Hollywood is using complete and utter destruction too much. They're using it again in the new, what's that movie that's coming out? The Aliens movie. Oh, Independence Day 2 or The Second Coming, whatever the fuck they're calling it to these days. That's coming out. I mean, and they even make fun of it in the trailer. Jeff Goldblum, I remembered his name, how about that? Didn't stutter or anything, I remember the fucker's name. Jeff Goldblum says they like the monuments. Well, it's the truth. In all these movies, they're destroying monuments, bridges, and everything. They just did it in, speaking of the apocalypse, they just did it in X-Men Apocalypse as well. Magneto is literally pulling iron from the earth, and in doing so is destroying the planet. Buildings are crashing, bridges are collapsing. It's abuse, man. It's like word abuse. It's like using the word, what's a word that, I can't think of a word now. Fuck, what's that word that they use too much? I can't think of a word that they use too much. It's like handcrafted on every goddamn food package out there. Or what's another word that they use too much? Fuck. Anyway, it's overused. We gotta dial it back a little bit. We can't keep seeing destruction of city after city, country after country. In the Avengers 2, they destroyed, I don't know what city. I mean, it was the basis of Civil War itself, Captain America Civil War. We gotta dial it back somehow. And I guess that's really the beauty of shows like Daredevil on Netflix, that whole street level superhero thing. I'm pretty sure, now, I don't work in Hollywood. I would love to, but I don't. I got a couple ideas. Call me, fellas. Actually, I don't. I don't think I'm a fiction kind of writer. Anyway, way off target here. Stay on target. Stay on target. Oh, that's what I was saying. Street level superheroes, and that's why Daredevil works so well. And Jessica Jones. So we can have these superheroes. We don't have to have complete and utter destruction in our movies. It's not only are we getting desensitized, and listen, I am as desensitized as the next guy. I raise my kids to be desensitized. That's an odd thing to be proud of. It's too much, you know. It's sort of like it's overkill, and we have to find a way to dial that back. Whether that means some of these stories have to take place off world, I don't know what the answer is, but I do know as I'm sitting there watching X-Men Apocalypse, and Australia is being destroyed. That famous opera house in Australia is being destroyed. I'm thinking, how many more movies are we going to see this in? Do we have to suffer seeing this destruction in? And I'm not one of these guys. Listen, I love violence as the next person. I just said that I love violence. I'm desensitized. It's too much. And unfortunately, I can't offer any solutions other than bringing the superheroes down to more of a street level, a la Daredevil, Punisher, and Spider-Man. They could do certainly on a lower level. When they do those ensemble movies of these superpower beings, I suppose it is a little bit harder to do a street level story. It doesn't make any sense, especially with the precedent they already established. Still, it is, how many more times are we gonna suffer through this? I can suspend my disbelief, you know, in Man of Steel, when all those buildings are being destroyed. I'm fine with the next movie, in theory, Metropolis is back together. I can suspend my disbelief that way. I don't need to see Metropolis getting rebuilt, or I don't need the story of the next installment of Superman to even acknowledge that Metropolis was rebuilt. Who gives a fuck? You're talking minutia. And that minutia is what sort of kills the fun of superheroes, isn't it? I mean, don't we just assume that the city gets rebuilt and we can move on to the next story, right? Unless you're telling a story about the minutia, and that's a whole nother ballgame. But it goes back to something that I maintain, that these superhero movies, especially the DC ones, are grounded way, way too much in reality. And because they're grounded so much in reality, it takes away that suspension of disbelief, because we know these people can't exist. Even Batman, even what's-his-face's Batman. God, what the hell's that director's name? Oh, I'm terrible with names, as I've mentioned so many times. The Inception director, whatever the fuck his name is. I can't even remember Batman's name. It's terrible. No notes, everybody. This is what happens when you wing this shit. He wouldn't even that Batman wouldn't exist, because it's impossible. So let's take a step back here. Let's not base our heroes so much in reality. It kills the fun. And let's not destroy every goddamn building there is. Fair enough?